am fully willing to rank every single Lord of the Rings character with speaking time. But for now, I will be satisfied with this video, which is my unpopular opinion. I say unpopular, I'm only saying that for the views. I don't actually know the popular Lord of the Rings opinions because, well, as you might have guessed from this video, I'm pretty late. Hey guys, welcome back to Cherry Bepsy. How are you guys? How you been? I feel like I've really been slacking on our parasocial relationship lately for the past couple months or year or so, and that's because I've been working. Because, you know, I started the channel during the pandemic when I was like working from home actually, so I had a lot more time, but then I like went back out into the workforce and stuff. Anyway, that doesn't really matter. But in the meantime, I think I've really caught up on a lot of very classic, popular intellectual properties and franchises and such. My last video, if you've seen that, you'll know. But today, we're gonna be talking about Lord of the Rings, all 3 movies, and yes, I watched the extended versions. I, for a while, didn't watch them because, well, I guess for no real reason. I think like I've mentioned, I'm kind of a hater in that if something's popular, I tend to kind of like stray away from it. But, you know, like recently people were telling me to watch it, and then I was like, no, I can't because, well, I don't know why not. And so then I was like, I guess I will watch it. And, you know, I actually enjoyed it. Well, I mean, I have my opinions about the 3rd movie, but we'll get to that at the end. But anyway, I think I'm also like the last person to not watch them. Actually, I'm sure a lot of you have also not seen them. There's so many people on Earth. I just wanted to share my opinions on the movies. And I don't think I'm gonna have a very specific structure to this, kind of like my Twilight video, where I think I'm just gonna go off of like maybe listing things that as they come up in my head, kind of just freeballing or freewheeling or something. First of all, I think the overarching message of this video is going to be why the true hero of Lord of the Rings is Samwise Gamgee. I love him so much. He's like the best character ever. He's the best man. I don't know a better man. I don't know a better hobbit. Yeah, I think that's true. By the way, I can't not touch on this because it's like, you know, Lord of the Rings, Tolkien and stuff. Why is the racial hierarchy in Lord of the Rings universe so blatantly racist? It's like almost like a child's understanding of morality, you know? It's like, well, first, there's the good people. They're all really tall and pretty, and they're really smart, and they're good at everything. And that's the elves, right? And then it's like, then there's the normal people, and they're like kind of ugly and weird, but they're like fine. You know, it's like they're normal, you know, whatever. And then there's like the evil people, and they're so ugly and mean and gross and disabled, and they have like big noses because you know how all evil people have big noses, and they're so gross. And those are the orcs. I mean, sure, you got a couple of oddballs here and there, like there's Saruman, but he's like evil because he went to Sauron, which by the way, I hate that Saruman and Sauron, like those 2 names are so similar. It's just like, were you trying to confuse people? Did you run out of names? Like, anyway, but yeah, I mean, I just had to get that out of the way because I was watching it. There's also like a couple of human armies throughout like the movie, you know, that have been like recruited by Sauron, and there's like a nice moment with Faramir, I think, Boromir's younger brother, where like he rescues like the main squad from some of like the humans that Sauron has recruited, and you know, everybody's like, oh my god, they're so evil, and then Faramir's like, well, in a war, the other side's always going to be evil, and also you don't know, like, dead boy is probably so far from home, and you don't know what they said to him to make him think that, like, he needed to do this or what they offered him. It was honestly a very nice moment. It was like one of the few moments of kind of like introspection that you kind of get in the movie where it's like a little self-aware about it, which I'm glad, because if you notice, all of the recruited humans that were on Sauron's side were all like brown or brown looking. I was like, and the fact that they had elephants, I was like, just say you're jealous. It was just so funny. By the way, something that I realized while I was watching this, Lord of the Rings is basically like white Bahubali. If you guys have seen that movie, like, yeah, I'm aware that Lord of the Rings came out first, but I watched Bahubali first, so the end. I'm getting off track. We need to get back to why Samwise is the best character ever. He's so sweet. I love him. The actor is so cute. Like, he's such a cute little guy. Like, he's such a cute guy. I love him. He's like kind of dreamy, you know, like in like a sweet way. He's like kind of Jesse McCartney-esque. Not in like a pretty boy way, but in a boy next door type of way, where, you know, I think I'm trying to say is like he has a beautiful soul. I think that's what I'm trying to say. But also I think he's cute. I don't know, he's kind of cute. What do you guys think? Frodo, like, I know it's Elijah Wood, but like I feel like they definitely like played up Elijah Wood's features to make him look more, you know, fantasy-esque, but he looked like a little weirdo the whole movie. I hated like his big old green eyes, like he's just staring at you. Like, I didn't like it. So okay, let's see. We start off in the movie. You know what? I think I'm actually going to go chronologically through the movie. Just kind of like tell you guys what I think as I go. Okay, so first, you know, you start off in the Shire. First of all, I love the name, the Shire. Like, it's so fun. And then it's also so fun to like drop into like conversations whenever you're trying to like kind of shade some white people that are like a little bit dirty looking or something. Like, he looks like he could be a hobbit, right? And that's not an insult, because there are some good-looking hobbits like Samwise, okay? But he's not, he doesn't look like Samwise. I'll probably cut that part out. Gandalf shows up. We love our foxy grandpa. By the way, I love the hobbits. They're so much fun. Like, all they do is eat and get high and like party and dance. And I'm just like, why would you ever want to be anything else? I would be a hobbit, I think. What would you guys be in the Lord of the Rings universe? Comment below for the engagement, but also I'm genuinely curious, like, you know, put like, oh, if I was, like, put what you would be, and then also give like a little bit of like a reasoning. I would be a hobbit because I also love to have fun and dance and party and eat. So they're so fun. Like, I just love that. I love that happy, merry energy. Anyway, Gandalf shows up. He's kind of telling, what's the Hobbit's name? The one from the Hobbit movie. Bilbo. I love the names, by the way. I love the names, especially the Hobbit names. Gandalf shows up. He's like, Bilbo, you gotta give up the ring, or something like that. And then Bilbo is like, by the way, I saw like the origin of so many memes in these movies. Like, these are such rich cultural texts. You know what I mean? Like, there's the part where Bilbo is like putting the ring away in his pocket or something. He's like, wait, what does he say? He's like, after all, why shouldn't I? Why shouldn't I keep it for myself, or something like that? And that's like a classic meme, right? Anyway, I just wanted to point that out. They're all having a big old party, and Bilbo is Frodo's uncle or something, and he adopted him, I think. I don't know. And by the way, Bilbo's house, it's called a hobbit hole. Is that not the cutest thing? And it's also exactly as cozy as you would think. Anyway, Gandalf shows up and he's like, you know, Bilbo, stop hoarding the ring. You know, you've kept it this long without going crazy, but I think it's kind of like getting to you a little bit or something. And then Bilbo's like, I think you might be right. Also, I'm like old now. He's like 100 something. And he's like, I want to go on adventures like again. Because his whole thing is like he used to go on a bunch of adventures when he was younger, and now he's like not young, and he's like in the Shire and his little hobbit hole with Frodo, his adopted nephew or something. And so Bilbo's like, you're right, but let me just do one more last thing, because, you know, he's a hobbit and he loves the theatrics, okay? So, you know, he goes up and he makes this big birthday speech, because this is all having like a birthday party, fireworks, everything. And, you know, he does a little speech or whatever, and then at the end of it, he puts the ring on and he disappears. And that's when you realize that the ring makes you disappear. And it's like, that's so crazy. Anyway, and then, you know, he walks with his little hobbit feet back to his little hobbit hole, and Gandalf, he's like a king wizard or something, and so he's like, obviously knows what's going on, and so he finds him in the little hobbit hole, and he's like, Bilbo, what are you doing? And Bilbo's like, I was just having some fun. Like, you know, I wasn't gonna take it or anything. And Gandalf's like, get rid of the ring. And then he's like, you want to take it from me. And then Gandalf is like, he has a little bit of like a moment where he's kind of like, Bilbo Baggins, I am not trying to steal that ugly ring from you. I'm trying to save you. And then Bilbo gets kind of scared, but he's like shocked out of his like stupor. And then he goes and hugs Gandalf, and it's so cute actually because Bilbo's like this big and then Gandalf's like this big. I love friendship. I love when men can hug each other and it not be accused of being gay, even though Bilbo and Gandalf are definitely both gay, but not with each other, I don't think. I mean, I'm sure they like kind of like hooked up a couple times, but more of like a, you know, like out of experimentation or curiosity. They don't actually like each other like that. They're just kind of like, I think we're better as friends. But you know, we'll get back to Gandalf's gayness in a bit. But then Frodo shows up at the place at the Hobbit Hole, and Bilbo says goodbye to him. He's like, I'm leaving. I'm gonna go have my own adventures. And then you also go have your own adventures. And then Bilbo leaves. And I think Gandalf is left at this point, and so then Frodo's just chilling in the place, and then he finds the ring, I think, and then he puts it somewhere. Gandalf shows back. You know, I think I'm a little bit hazy on this part. No, I was right. Gandalf leaves, and Bilbo also leaves, but separately. You know, they're not going like to the same place or anything. And then Frodo's just kind of chilling in the Hobbit Hole. Then Gandalf hears from some of his buddies, I think, I forget how he gets this information. Oh, he learns the true nature of the ring or something. Yeah. And then he sees that someone who will become more of a character in the later movies, I can never remember his name. So we'll just call him Gobby. But like Gobby, that little like goblin thing, he's like a little gremlin or something. He's like bald. He has like the big eyes and the thong. Gandalf sees that Gobby has been captured by Sauron and his forces and has been being tortured and everything. And then he sees that Gobby has given up two words, Baggins and the Shire. So obviously Sauron's men are on their way with the Nazgul or something. They're like these guys who are like really into the ring and kind of like henchmen or something, but they're like ghosts. I don't know. They're coming to get the ring from, well, now Frodo, because Bilbo just like got his ass out of there to, you know, go on adventures or whatever. And so Gandalf's like, oh my God. So he runs back to the Shire and he's like, Frodo. And he's like, Frodo, you're in trouble. You have got to get out of the Shire. And then Frodo's like, but why? I love the Shire. And Gandalf's like, you don't understand. It's that ring that your grandpappy Bilbo gave you. Which, now that you think about it, isn't it kind of like a dick move? Like, you know, Bilbo's like, I want to go have adventures. So here, nephew, stay here and take care of my little house, and also take care of this ring that has like lots of power. They know it's the ring, right? Anyway, old people can have lives too. It's fine. Gandalf tells Frodo that Gandalf is gonna go meet his little his little wizard boyfriend Saruman. And he's like, Saruman's so smart, he's gonna know what to do. Okay, so you just, you know, you meet me at, where does he want to meet him? Bree. Gandalf tells Frodo to set out from the Shire and meet him in Bree. Gandalf is gonna go to Saruman, you know, have a little chit chat with his boyfriend, with his little wizard boyfriend, and then he's gonna meet Frodo back at Bree. And then this is where my best boy, Samwise, comes in. He's like the best, and he's like, I'm coming with you, obviously. Frodo and Samwise are going to Brie, which is like a type of cheese, but also a location. To see that these two other hobbits are following, Merry and Pippin. I was a little bit annoyed with these guys, I'm not gonna lie to you. I was kind of like, why are they here? I didn't know that they existed like before I started watching the movies. I was like, I know Gandalf is a thing. I know Frodo and Samwise is a thing, and Gobby, and obviously the elf guy with the arrows, and Gimli, the cute little dwarf guy. I love him. And then Aragon or something is a thing. But that's it. I didn't know that Merry and Pippin, like I didn't know that they were like a thing. And so I was kind of like, are they gonna die? But they like, spoilers, but they don't. Like, I'm kind of shocked like that they survived like all 3 movies. Like, I mean, you didn't even kill one of them, but like whatever. Merry and Pippin are also following them, and they also kind of catch up with them at some point in this. And now all 4 of them are going to Bree to meet up with Gandalf, and eventually they arrive there. I mean, there's little hiccups along the way, but you know, I'm giving you kind of like the important overarching plot. So then they arrive at Bree, and Gandalf is not there. And you know why? Cut to Gandalf. He's meeting his wizard bestie boyfriend at Saruman's tower or something. Yeah, it's a tower. And, you know, Gandalf's like, hey, Saruman, like, Sauron is like gathering his forces and is like, I think he's gonna attack again and stuff. And Saruman's like, and then Gandalf is like, what do you mean and? And then he's like, are you? And then Saruman's like, yes. And this, if it was like a Lifetime movie, would be the moment that like Saruman like flashes his hand and reveals like his engagement ring, and he's like, I'm engaged to evil, or something like that. And then Gandalf is like, ah. Because here's the thing with Gandalf and Saruman, it's like they're not like boyfriends. They're kind of like on again, off again, like really like hot and cold, passionate type of guys. But it's like, even though they've been on and off, even when they're off and even when they're cold or hot, I guess, if depending on how you interpret it, they're always kind of still on the same side. You know, it's not like they're like ever hostile towards each other. But then that's why this is such a big blow to Gandalf. He's like, I never saw this coming. I never thought that my booty call would be booty calling evil. Well, anyway, then they have this big epic wizard fight, but like, let's be real, guys, it was pretty funny. Like, these 2 old men are just like waving their sticks at each other, and they're kind of just like going, flying back and forth. I loved it. I can't lie to you, I loved it. But then, obviously, Saruman, sorry, another thing that was like crazy about this movie is the names and the titles. So like, Gandalf right now, he's Gandalf the Grey, which I thought was because his beard is gray. And then Saruman is Saruman the White because his hair is white. I don't know. And apparently white is more powerful than gray. And I don't know. It just does make for a lot of funny moments when it's like, Gandalf the White is here and he's better now because he's white. Or something like that. It's just, it's pretty good. Pretty good racial commentary, I would say. Very smart of Tolkien, I think. Very ahead of his time. But anyway, so Saruman is more powerful than Gandalf at this point. So he captures Gandalf and like kind of keeps him chained up in like a Prometheus type situation, in my opinion at least. So that's why Gandalf is not showing up to meet them at Bree, meet the little hobbit crew at Bree. But you know who does meet them? Somebody named Strider, who's very mysterious, very sexy and hot. And, you know, he saves them from some hooligans that are looking to rough up these poor little baby hobbits that are like so fun and cute and out of their element because they're out of the Shire. They're not in the Shire anymore, honey. But yeah, he helps them out, and then he pulls back his hood to reveal he's hot. And he's like the Aragon guy. Aragorn, I think. I don't know. I feel like like the subtitles said Aragorn, but like they kept pronouncing it Aragon, right? I don't know. It doesn't matter. I'm calling him Aragon. But he's like, I'm a friend of Gandalf the Grey and blah, blah, blah. And then he's like, they're like, where is Gandalf? And then he's like, I don't know. But in his absence, I will help you. We're gonna go to Rivendell because that's where the elves are. And remember, the elves are the all-powerful, all-good, super cool, super pretty and beautiful and fun and smart race of people. And so obviously they're like, the ring will be safe with the elves in Rivendell. By the way, isn't that the same place that Anna and Elsa are from? Like, they're like, we're gonna go to Rivendell, and I'm like, okay, well, where's Olaf or something? I've never actually seen Frozen. Other stuff happens. They get attacked by the Nazgul, and then Frodo gets like a really bad like injury or something. But like, so it's even more imperative that they get to Rivendell. And then Aragorn's elf girlfriend shows up, played by Liv Tyler, who is so gorgeous. Honestly, so fitting. Like, she would be an elf, you know? Like she would be such a beautiful, like, ethereal elf. Like, she looks so good in this movie. Well, she looks good all the time, but anyway. And by the way, I saw like a meme or something where it was like, oh, normally I hate age gaps, but you know what age gap I support is Aragorn and Arwen, because Aragorn's like 80 and then Arwen's like 2007 or something like that. And I'm just like, you know what? I do support this as well, because not only is Aragorn 80, like they met when he was like 60 or 70 or 80 or something like that, but it's the woman who's like thousands of years old. Like, is that not feminism? Anyway, I do wish Arwen had more of a role in this movie. Like, the most she does, so, you know, like Frodo gets injured and he's like rapidly dying or whatever, so she's like, we need to get him to the elf land so that my father can heal him, because her dad is like the elf king or whatever. And so, you know, she rides really fast and they get like chased by people or something, and then she like uses her elf magic to like, you know, water bend them away. And it's really cool and stuff, and she's great. Oh yeah, and so then she gets him to Rivendell, where the elves heal Frodo. And then he wakes up and he sees all his little buddies, and you know who else he sees there? Gandalf. And then, you know, it's because Gandalf talked to like this little moth thing and was like, can you go get me, well, he actually whispers something. It doesn't actually say like what he said to them, but he's like, he whispers something, and then like this giant eagle comes back and like rescues him, and so now he's free. Yeah, so now they're in Rivendell, and they, you know, are like have handed over the ring to the elves. But here we find out that the elves are not so great, because they're like, actually, it's not our problem anymore, because we're leaving. We're going to elf heaven, and none of this is our problem anymore. So, yeah. And this is where they create the Fellowship of the Ring, which is also the name of the first movie. But anyway, so the guy, Arwen's dad, what's his name? Elrond. I'm just going to call him Arwen's dad. Arwen's dad is like, the only way to defeat Sauron is to destroy the ring. But also the thing with the ring is, because Frodo's been carrying it this whole time, right? The thing with the ring is, most people can't just carry it like that, because it's all evil and it has like Sauron's soul or something, or his essence in it, and he's all evil and he always wanted power and stuff. So if you like hold it for too long, then you're gonna want power and stuff, and you're gonna go all power hungry. And so people, like men are really weak or something, is what basically the point. But also, so are like everybody else, I guess. Like, nobody, like, this ring is so hot, like, it's too sexy, like, nobody can, like, you know, resist its charms or whatever. And so then they're like, who is gonna risk carrying it? And then already you're beginning to see kind of the seeds of like Boromir. He's from Gondor, which is a place with men, excuse me, a place of men, where I guess they're like kind of on the edge of everything. So they're like constantly like kind of fighting back Sauron's advances or something. I don't know. So they kind of have a chip on their shoulder. They're like, we're at the very edge of everything and blah, blah, blah. And we don't get any support. I never get any support from any of you guys. But anyway, Boromir's like, I'll take it. And everybody's like, no. And there's Boromir, obviously representing the men or the humans. And then there's Legolas, who is an elf with a bow. And then there's Gimli, my favorite. He is a dwarf king, and I love him so much. And then there is Gandalf, obviously. Then there's like Frodo and the hobbits. And then Oh, and then, well, I think that's it. So yeah, so then they kind of are like, we'll have a representative from each of like the groups of people to go and get rid of this ring, but also then it's like there's, oh, Aragon, I forgot about Aragon. Then there's still the question, right, of like, who is going to carry the ring? Who is going to carry the ring? Because remember, it's like very dangerous or something to carry it. Like every man will be tempted. But then Gandalf is like, actually, Frodo has been carrying the ring this whole time, and he doesn't even care. Like, he's like, I don't even care. Like, I don't care about the ring. Like, it's not even, I don't even, like, it's not even that cool. Like, it's not even that hot to me. And so they're like, okay, well, I guess the Hobbit will blah, blah, blah. No, actually, that's not what happens. Gandalf reveals that or something, and then they all start fighting with each other, and then it's like, oh my god, blah, blah, blah. And then it's kind of like, and then there's kind of like the zoom in on the ring, and it's like, oh my god. The ring is already starting to sow discord. And then Frodo is seeing all this, and he's like, oh my god, I'm just a sweet little elf away from home, away from the Shire, and I want to help if I can. And so he's like, I'll do it. I'll carry the ring into Mordor. And then they're like, oh my god, thank you so much. Then before they leave, remember how Bilbo left to go on his adventure or something? I think I misspoke. What he actually meant to go do is go live with the elves or something, because I don't know, the elf kingdom is like Florida, I guess, in this world. So he's all like old because the ring was keeping him pretty young and spry for a lot of his life, but now that he doesn't have the ring anymore, that's also why Gobby is still alive, because the ring kept him alive all this time or something. So yeah, Bilbo's aging and stuff, and he is like, you know, meets up with Frodo again. They have a very tearful reunion, but also goodbye, because Frodo has to go take the ring to Mordor. And, you know, Bilbo gives him some swag. He gives him like this elf-made chainmail, which is super cool and special because elves made it. And he gives him like a ring that tells you when orcs are nearby or something. I don't know. So then they set off. And then they go to Rohan, which, by the way, Rohan is like a name, like a South Asian name. And I was like, so you're going to name your little thing Rohan, but then you're going to make all the brown people evil? Like, make up your mind, you know? Whatever. They can't go through Rohan because, you know, Saruman's spies are watching it. So they're like, we're going to go the long way. And then they go to like a mountain, which is like really like scary. And then there's like a storm that happens on the mountains. And so they're like, we can't go through the mountains. We're going to have to go through the mountain, as in under it or something. I don't know. They go through the mines of Moria. And Gimli's like really feeling himself. He's like, my cousins are in Moria. Like, they love me. Like, it's gonna be so cool and fun. Don't even worry about it. I got this, you guys. And then they go in and they find that all of the dwarves of Moria are dead. And it's honestly very sad. I was like so sad for Gimli. I'm like, he just wanted to party with his relatives and have a little family reunion. And now they're all dead. Anyway, so they see all the dwarf bodies and they have like a book. And at first I'm kind of like, some little baddies come through, like little ghouls and stuff. And then like they defeat them and I'm like, okay, what? So the dwarves couldn't do that? Like, that's kind of like, you know, like why couldn't they just do that, you know? But then, hold on, let me look up what the name was. A Balrog shows up. And I'm like, now I understand why the dwarves couldn't just beat them off or whatever. It's like super scary looking or whatever. It's like this big ass like fire demon thing. It's so big and scary and powerful or whatever. And it has a fire whip, which is like so BDSM, you know? Yeah, so it starts chasing them. They're like, obviously we can't fight this off. And so they start running, and then there's like a bridge. You know those classic moments in like a cave or something where there's like a bridge and it's like falling apart and they're like, oh my god, how are we gonna do this? It has some of my favorite lines from Gimli here where they're like jumping, and then Gimli's like, I can't jump that far, and then Aragorn's like about to like toss him and he's like, nobody tosses a dwarf. I love him so much. By the way, Legolas and Gimli are in love. Like, it's really beautiful that like an elf and a dwarf could fall in love like this, but like love is love, you know? Love wins. The Balrog thing is still coming after them. And then, you know, Gandalf's like, go, get out of here, blah, blah, blah. And then, you know, it's all very dramatic. And then Frodo's like, no, I don't want to leave you. And then Gandalf's like, get the hell out of here. And then, oh my god, another meme moment. Gandalf is like, you shall not pass. And I was like, this is pretty epic. I'm not gonna lie to you. And then he doesn't pass. Then he literally does not pass. But then, and he falls into like the little crevasse, if you will. But then at the last moment, remember his little BDSM whip? He uses his little whip to like grab Gandalf and like pull him off of like the edge of the bridge and like kind of take him down with him. And then Frodo's like, oh my god, no, we have to save him. And then Gandalf's like, no, get out of here. And then he falls. And then I was kind of like, he's a wizard. Like, can he not fly? Like, can wizards not fly? Like, that's so wild to me. But I mean, I guess he did have to summon that eagle thing to get out of there, but it's just really wild to me that wizards can't just fly in this universe. Like, they can do everything else, but they can't just fly, like, whatever. So then he falls to his death, and it's actually really sad. I was so sad. I was like, I can't believe Gandalf died. I was like, they didn't even help him while he was hanging out there. It was literally like, and nobody's gonna help her, like, literally. And so then everybody's super sad and bummed, and then Frodo especially, because that was like his, that was like his peepaw, you know? Peepaw Gandalf. And, you know, he's already going through a lot. So then they get to another elf place, which I'm like, why are there so many elf places? I thought y'all were leaving, but whatever. And then he meets Cate Blanchett, which she was so, I don't know. They like, see, I mentioned how Liv Tyler looked so good in this movie. Cate Blanchett looked so, you know, let me not say anything, but let me just say I did like how she looked in this movie. It was really weird and really creepy, and then there's even that weird moment with the ring, but you know, we'll get to that. Anyway, they get there. Her name is Galadriel. Gimli is having some classic Gimli like lines here, by the way. He's so funny and cute, and he's like, I don't care, people think that dwarves don't have women, but we do. And if I'm gonna be with a woman, it's gonna be with a dwarf. I'm not gonna be falling for some elf woman. And then immediately he's like, excuse me, can I have some of your hair, please? And then she gives him like 3 pieces of hair, and I'm like, you know what, Gimli? He's a king. Then Cate Blanchett takes Frodo aside, and she's like, Frodo, I have visions or whatever, and you're the only one that can bring the ring to Mordor. And also, somebody that's in the Fellowship of the Ring is gonna try and take it from you soon. And also, here's what the world is gonna look like if you don't get rid of the ring. And I'm already like, he has gone through so much. He literally lost his grandpa just now. Like, can you give him a break? Like, he knows the world is screwed, okay? Like, you don't have to tell him. Well, yeah. And then there's a moment where Frodo's like, here, do you want the ring? You can take it. And then he's like giving her the ring. And then she's like, you would just give it to me? And then she like reaches for it and she's like, I would love it, because she's like a bearer of some ring or something like that. I don't know. And then she kind of has this weird like a villain moment where she kind of like goes all blue and lightningy, and she's like, I'm gonna be the bringer of the goddess of darkness or something and rule the world and in my image and blah blah blah. And then like then it's over and she's like, well, I'm done. I passed. And I'm like, that didn't sound like you passed. I don't know. But she's like, I don't want it. And I'm like, okay, well. But yeah, so she's like, somebody in the Fellowship of the Ring is gonna try and take the ring from you. And then we're like, okay, we know it's Boromir. Come on, like, and then she gives them all gifts and stuff. And then, you know, that's when Gimli gets the hair. And I'm like, you know, Gimli, you can have any of my hair. Maybe not. That's kind of weird. Like, what is he gonna do with it? Like, I was watching this with my brother, and he was like, oh, it was like a thing back then. And I'm like, I don't think so. Well, I don't know. I guess I could look it up. I don't want to. Anyway, you also see that during all this time, Saruman is helping Sauron make orcs, but they're like special orcs, which, this was so funny. Orcs are like born out of the mud. Like, can you, like, once again, going back to that very childish conception of like morality and good and bad, it's like, these orcs are evil and they're ugly and they're born out of the mud. You know, I gotta say, not a huge imagination on this guy. Then they're going through some kind of forest, and of course, Cate Blanchett's prophecy comes to pass. Boromir is kind of going a little stir crazy with the ring, but also you kind of understand it because he's like, I want my people, for my people or something. But it's also like, everybody's told you that that's not gonna work out, bro. Like, you know, but he's like, he's very like short-sighted, short-minded, or whatever the word is. So he's like, no, I want it. And then Frodo's like, get away from me. And then he like pushes him away. And then, you know, you're reminded that Frodo's just like a little guy. He's just like a little guy from the Shire. And I think Boromir also remembers this at this moment. He's like, oh my God, Frodo, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to do all that. And then Frodo's like, get away from me. And he's all scared. And then he runs away. And then he's like, Frodo's like, I have to leave, like, because I don't know if I can trust anybody in the Fellowship anymore. Because obviously, like, Boromir went crazy, but I'm like, can we be real here? Like, Boromir was already like halfway there, like not even I would say like 3/4 away. Like, he was already like volunteering to take the ring back in like Rivendell or whatever. So like, is anybody shocked? Is my question. But anyway, and so then he's like, I have to leave. And so he leaves. And this is where Samwise is like my favorite line of his, or one of my favorites. He has a lot of great lines where, you know, Frodo's like, I'm going alone. And then Samwise is like, of course you are. And I'm coming with you. And I'm like, I love him so much. Oh my God, I love him. And then the forest crew, the ones that are left, the Fellowship of the rest of the ring, they get attacked by orcs and stuff, including like the super cool orc king that's very POC coded, if I may say so myself, attacks them and blah, blah, blah. And then Merry and Pippin, remember them? Yeah, they're still alive. They're still here. They're about to die. And then Boromir sacrifices himself to save them. And he takes like 8 arrows, which was like pretty epic of him. I'm not gonna lie. But he dies, obviously. And then, yeah, and then you see like Samwise and Frodo, and they're going to some mountain. And then the movie ends. And I was so shocked because I was like, they didn't even get to Mordor? They didn't even get to the volcano. Like, they don't get to the volcano, until the 3rd movie. I thought that like the first one, they like throw the ring away, and then the next movies, like other stuff happens, but like, no, that was it. Yeah. Anyway, I just realized I've been talking for like 50 minutes. You might as well just watch the movie at that. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, that's not true because the movie is like 4 hours. So, yeah, whatever. Anyway, I chose this manner of telling you everything because I felt like it was the most efficient way of communicating all of my thoughts to you about Lord of the Rings. But now I'm like, did I? Like, do you know how I feel? Comment below. But anyway, again, I haven't had as much time to make videos, and I prefer to make like video essays and stuff because I like to feel smart, but also I just like to like have an outlet to be able to talk about my interests and everything. But I don't have as much time anymore because, like, you know, having to go out into the workforce like physically is so draining, and I have like so much less time to do things that I really love and enjoy, you know. But I still wanted to get this out and like reconnect with you all parasocially. So I don't know, let me know what you think about Lord of the Rings. Don't tell me what you feel about this video. Well, unless it's positive. I guess you could say negative things too. I heard that's really good for the algorithm or whatever. But I guess for this video, I don't really need the algorithm because it's kind of like, this is just for us, you know? Like, we're just like talking, like me and you and friends and stuff. But yeah, can you like the video though, just so I like kind of personally feel better? And then also definitely comment because I love reading those, and I do respond to like basically all of them. Okay, like, you know this. But yeah, you can subscribe if you want to, I guess, but like, I mean, I watch a lot of channels without subscribing. I'm one of those people, so I understand, you know. But also if you want to, like, you know, I don't know. I would usually plug my Twitter at the end of this, but I haven't gone on Twitter ever since like Elon Musk bought it, and I'm just like, I don't know. And then I had a TikTok, but I deleted it because, my God, TikTok. So, I don't know. Yeah, I hope you have a good rest of your day, a good rest of your week, and, sending you all very good vibes. And I love you. No, it's too soon.